Now, on the last day of his trip before leaving the G20 summit, President Yoon sat down with his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping. This is the first time the two met face-to-face and comes amid heightened tensions on the Korean peninsula, with signs that North Korea's next nuclear test is imminent. Our editor-in-chief Moon Connyoung was traveling with the president.
Once again, I express my condolences to the bereaved families of the victims of a recent accident in Seoul and send my heartfelt words of support to those injured.
얼마 전 서울 이태원에 있었던 이 참사에 대해서 애도를 표현해 주셔서 감사드립니다.
The first in-person meeting between President Yoon Suk-yeol and Chinese President Xi Jinping began on a softer note, with the men expressing grief over those affected by a recent crowd crush in Seoul that led to the death of 158 people. The face-to-face, coming on the sidelines of the summit of the Group of 20 Advanced and Emerging Economies, was confirmed last minute, evidencing both delegations' awareness for a need, at the same time highlighting the sensitivity of the Seoul-Beijing ties. The first between leaders of South Korea and China since the Seoul-Beijing-Tokyo Trilateral Summit in December 2019, the tete-a-tete was little more than a get-to-know session, lasting 25 minutes, but with much riding on, taking into account the geopolitics of the region.
우리 정부의 외교 목표는 동아시아와 국제사회의 자유, 평화, 번영을 추구하고 기여해 나가는 것입니다. 그 수단과 방식은 보편시와 국제 규범에 기반하고 있습니다. 중국의 역할이 매우 중요합니다.
With experts warning that a nuclear test by North Korea is imminent, President Yoon called for China's input in preventing the North from going ahead with it. To this, the Chinese leader said he would support Mr. Yoon's audacious initiative policy toward North Korea, but that the success of the policy would depend on Pyongyang. Yoon is also expected to have explained his new Indo-Pacific strategy that he unveiled in Phnom Penh over the weekend.
China and South Korea are close neighbours that will always live next to each other, partners that cannot be separated. China is ready to work with South Korea to scale up communication and coordination at the G20 and other fora, jointly practice true multilateralism and safeguard overall peace and stability in the region.
Mr. Xi added that he would take up on South Korea's invitation for his visit once the COVID pandemic has been settled. The 6-day two-nation tour intended for the ASEAN and G20 summits and related countries turned out to be more than that for the South Korean president, having met face-to-face with leaders of 3 of South Korea's key nations. With takeaways from these summits to materialize, more summit diplomacy awaits Yoon in Seoul as a number of heads of state are visiting the country in the next several days. Moon Connyoung, Arirang News.